So this video is going to be a little different. I did not write any talking points because I wanted whatever emotions that I was going to be feeling from this day just to fill my heart, and then from that speak to you all. So where do we begin? This is going to be either really good or really all over the place, because when I'm trying to explain something, I feel like I'm streamlined, but to other people it's like zigzag. So here we go. Okay, so I guess I can start from just the beginning of my journey. Now, I did start my debt-free journey, my official debt-free journey, in September of 2016. And I say official because I did start to pay off debt before aggressively, but I quit because I was only making like $25,000 a year at the time. I was part-time and I was a college student, but my auto loan was literally, I felt like that thing literally just set me on this path. I felt like it was a punishment for me making a really dumb decision, and it was such a huge burden on my life. But now that I've made it to the end, hindsight is 2020, that was a huge blessing, because I would never have thrust myself into the world of personal finance had I not gotten an auto loan that I could not truly afford. So I remember working part-time. My paychecks were $525. My auto loan was $495. So needless to say, I had to give up one paycheck out of the month and live on just one paycheck. And I was out of my mom's house at the time. So if you've ever been low income and you are with kids, then you know that you get super creative. So I was basically living off of my tax refunds and my school checks and whatever extra money that I got. But that allowed me to learn how to maximize whatever extra money that I had, which, if you are new to my channel, I say this all the time, the number one thing that has truly helped me, besides setting and following a budget, was utilizing any extra money that I got. So I will say that younger me, she did set me on a path that allowed this journey to be a little easier for me, because I was already researching things since my auto loan was eating up my income. But eventually I did quit because, like many others, I was like, this is a waste of time. I have no money. I'm broke. There's no way I'm going to get this thing paid off. I would look at the balance and I would get so discouraged because I felt like it was barely moving. And I didn't have a lot of money to apply to it. I would apply like an extra $10 or $20. And so I just gave up. I decided that, this was just the way that our life was going to be. I would have to just get over it. Everyone is in debt. Who do I think I am, thinking that I could pay this thing off? So my circumstances, unfortunately, did get the best of me. But then, as time progressed, come 2016, I was 24 years old at the time. I decided to push the limits. I have always been a bit of a rebel. I've always done things my way. And if someone tells me that I can't do something, I'm going to damn near kill myself trying to do it. So I had like the devil and the angel on my shoulders. One was saying you can't do it. The other one was saying you can do it. And just from hearing that you can't do it inside my own mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try this thing again. And I was a lot stronger mentally because I had already tried it before, and I was just so dead set on proving my circumstances wrong, that they didn't define me, that I could overcome them. That was really truly one of the things that helped to keep me in the game during these long 4 years. I remember the first time I wrote out all of my debt. I wanted to see what I was working with before I started, and the balance literally made me sick. It was $34,907. That consisted of my student loans, my auto loan, credit card debt, personal loans, and I want to say medical bills as well, because I did wind up having to pay for my C-section. from my firstborn. And to a lot of people, I know that 34,000 or 35,000, dang near, is not a lot of money. But to someone who is 24 years old, she's low income, and she is a single mom, that sounded like it was six figures. It was extremely intimidating. And then once again, that little devil on my shoulder was saying, what are you doing? Like, you cannot do this. This is not possible. How do you think you are going to get all this money to pay off this debt? But I had already committed to the journey, and I had already told myself I was not going to let my circumstances define me this time around. I was going to push it to see how far I could go. I won't lie and say that I was super confident starting out. Just like with anything, with any large goal, you're not super confident. But as time progresses, as you get a little bit more experience under your belt, you do slowly gain the confidence and the motivation to keep going as you achieve those small wins. So I started out with a little mustard seed of faith, and I moved my feet on that little mustard seed of faith. And I think with a debt-free journey, a lot of people do this, but they're not moving their feet. They have no action to back it up. So they get stuck in this daydream phase where mentally they are a lot further along than where they actually are. And then when they snap back into reality, they're kind of like, oh dang, nothing has changed. That's because you're doing more of this instead of walking. And so I knew that I was going to have to put in the work, and it was not going to be super quick. It was not going to be super fun, but I was determined to do it because at the time I did just have my daughter, but I was still a mom. I had this little human being to take care of, and I was just completely over feeling like a dead broke loser that could not even afford herself. And that is not the way that I was willing to live my life. That is not the way I saw myself in the future. And when you start a debt-free journey, you literally have to learn how to be a visionary. You have to have that vision of yourself hitting that goal of reaching debt freedom, because that vision is going to be your compass. It's going to be what you use to get to your final destination. So it's like a GPS system. That vision is the destination that you put in that GPS, and then from that vision you have your route. So once you put in that destination in your mind, then your brain is going to come up with that route to help you get there. And a lot of the times when I felt a lack of motivation, when I felt that doubt creep in, when I felt like, girl, what are you doing? You cannot do this. You are broke. You are a single mom. You are young. You are black. All of these statistics are, working against you. I kept that vision at the forefront of my mind. I literally all the time meditated on that vision, not purposely, but I would just it excited me to daydream about seeing all zeros across the board. I did not always believe that it was possible for me, but it was still exciting to daydream about it. And for the longest time, I was unknowingly manifesting that final destination. Whenever I was on my debt-free journey, I was well into the journey. I didn't even know the personal finance community existed. And it was not until I began to start researching ways on how to pay off credit card debt faster that I found that there was a whole community of people that, had the same goal as me. So it was really lonely in the beginning. A lot of people thought I was crazy. A lot of people were like, yeah, okay, you're just talking. You're not really going to be able to do it, because everyone told me, everyone's in debt. There is no way you can live without debt. So basically, good luck. So when I found this community, I'm like, okay, I'm not insane. This is possible. People are doing it. But I will say it was a little discouraging for me, because the stories, I was not really able to relate to them. because I was one income and I was not a high earner. And I remember I would read these how I paid off XYZ in this super short amount of time. And I would try to read them for motivation, and I would leave out the post feeling like a failure. I would leave out the post feeling like I can't do this again. That little devil on my shoulder was saying, give up because your circumstances do not align with this goal. Because a lot of them were making money, like from their sites or from their social media platforms. And I know that helped them out a lot. And paying off my amount of money with my income was just not going to happen in 12 to 13 months. It wasn't going to happen. And I think that when you start this journey, you have to be realistic about your income status. And you have to realize that, you know, this person's journey is not going to look like yours. And just because they paid off XYZ in 13 months doesn't mean you're going to be able to pay it off in 13 months either. It may take you a long time. And it's actually pretty normal for it to take years for people to pay off a certain amount of debt. It doesn't matter how you get to the finish line. It doesn't matter if you get there running, crawling, or walking. All that matters is that you got to the finish line. So remember that if you are someone that is on a debt-free journey, or you're thinking of starting a debt-free journey, just remember that it is not about the length of time. It's only about you actually getting to debt freedom. And on my debt free chart, I purposely left out how long it took me, because it does not freaking matter. I don't care that it took me 4 years to just pay off $35,000 in debt. I'm super proud of myself. I am super proud of myself for pushing through every single doubt from myself and from others, and just doing it and staying consistent and never losing sight of my vision. So I will say that, and I will be the first person to say, I have gone into debt more times. During these 4 years, I have gone into more debt like 4 to 5 times. So if you are someone that is on a debt-free journey and something happens and you have to pause your journey because you just packed on more debt, that is completely fine. I am proof that it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you keep going. You handle what you need to handle for that certain amount of time, but never give up on your goal. Never lose sight of your vision. And then once you get that handled, you get right back on track. It doesn't matter that you ran that balance back up. All that matters is that now you are actively working towards getting it back down, and that you are not going to give up. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep moving your feet, because with consistency comes results. And that is one of the things that has helped me the most. Staying consistent. Even when things were looking bad for me, I stayed consistent. Even when my income was looking funny, I stayed consistent. Even when my son got admitted, even when I had to cancel Christmas, even when I was giving money to people who didn't deserve it, I still stayed consistent. So no matter how bad things are looking for you, keep that vision. Don't give up on it, because no one said a debt-free journey was going to be super easy. No one promised you that. No one promised you that it was going to be a streamlined process. No one promised you that it was going to be pretty. No one promised you that it was not going to be painful. No one promised you that you were going to have fun on this journey. It is not something that's fun. It freaking sucks. I will say that. This has been the roughest journey. It's been a complete emotional roller coaster. I feel like I felt every single emotion during these 4 years. But when you find something that is worth suffering for, and I've said this in a previous video, then that pain, that suffering no longer becomes pain and suffering, because it is something of value to you. It is something that becomes enjoyable. Yes, it still hurts, but it's like a good type of pain, a enjoyable type of pain. And you keep going, you keep pushing past it, because you know at the other side of this, through that pain, is success and glory. And I will say, not to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but I completely give all of my honor and praise to God because He has been my source of strength throughout these 4 years. He has kept me. He has literally orchestrated everything in this year, this crazy year of 2020, for me to knock out these debt balances. My original debt-free date was February of 2021. And I remember sitting down at my desk in my little cubicle saying, God, I am completely burnt out. Like, I feel like I am literally at my wit's end. I need to figure out how can I pay off this dang debt faster. And I just kept talking to him, trying to find ways, going back to my budget, trying to cut things, just trying to figure out how I could make this happen. And then I figured out a way using strategies like my PTO sell back, using extra money, stuff like that. And then the pandemic happens and I'm like, oh shit, this may not happen. Like my new goal of hitting debt freedom in 2020 may not happen. And I felt like the dang pandemic stole my thunder. And I completely lost faith in God and His ability. And I had to kind of reel myself back in and realize that if He tells you that He's going to do something, you feel it in your spirit, you cannot lose that faith. You have to remember, His word, His promise to you. And so I was like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep rocking it. So even when everyone was stopping their debt payoffs, their debt payments, and just trying to save up money because we were living in the unknown. No one knew if they were going to lose their job. No one knew what the economy was going to look like. I decided to walk by faith and not by sight of whatever was going on in the world. And I was like, I'm going to keep going. And so they stopped the student loan payments and the interest. That helped me out tremendously. And then I went back to God and I'm like, okay, I feel like I can do it. I just need a little extra help. And then the essential worker application, originally I sat on it for a few months because I didn't see myself as essential. I still don't see myself as essential. But I decided, I was like, you know what? I kept looking at the application. I filled it out and it was approved. So I no longer had to pay childcare and still don't until the first of the year. So that allowed me to apply more to my debt payment. The PTO sellbacks, they did not take that away from us. And we actually got 40 hours of pandemic PTO. So if I needed to take off, I could just use that 40 hours, which helped me to build up more PTO to sell back. And also the stimulus checks. So the stimulus checks were a huge blessing to me because I was able to put that amount on my student loans and I didn't have any interest. I didn't have a payment. I wasn't paying childcare. So all of these things, He literally orchestrated all of this in order for me to be right here. And I'm not a really super religious person. I'm more spiritual. I use God and universe interchangeably, but I still believe in a higher power, and I won't deny my blessings or deny that higher source of power to make you feel comfortable. But I do respect everybody's beliefs. But for me, I know that it would not have been possible if I had not told Him I needed help. Please help me. And I really believe that everything that has happened this year to make this moment possible has been because of Him. I'm really trying not to ugly cry as well because I promised myself I was not going to do it. But for those who are following me on Instagram, and if you are not following me, what are you doing? Follow me at Money Boss Mama. You have literally kept me. You have saved me. You have lit me up on days where I felt my darkest. This year has literally did a number. It has done a number on me mentally and spiritually and emotionally. But honestly, logging into my account and just being surrounded by so many people who genuinely want to see me win. even when I didn't feel like I was worthy of winning. And I literally did not feel like, there was anything special about me. And some days I felt like I had no strength. But for these people who don't even know me in real life to uplift me and say good job, even when I was only able to put a small amount of money, they're like, you still did a good job, and they're there to help me and inspire me, and I learn from them, and they push me to want to learn more. You all have literally helped me get to this moment. I really do not think you all realize the huge role you have played in my journey. Like, I literally don't know where I would be if I did not create that account. And I remember being so scared creating the account. I was like, nobody's going to listen to what I have to say. I'm this little country behind girl from Arkansas, and I don't know all the fancy lingo. I don't know all the personal finance jargon. I still have to Google definitions when people use these big fancy words. So I wasn't expecting much out of it. But as I continue to grow, I quickly learned how important community is. And community will also carry you through to the finish line, because these people are going to give you strength when you lack strength, and they are going to motivate you whenever you feel a lack of motivation. And when you feel like you are at your lowest, you feel like you're super small, you feel like your progress is not progress, like your payment should have been bigger, whatever, you are going to be surrounded, or should be surrounded by people who tell you that you are doing exactly what it is that you are supposed to do, and you are doing it well. So I want to say thank you all. And I feel like this moment I'm happy for myself, but I'm more so happy because I stand for every single mom. I stand for that woman who is crying herself to sleep because she is just crushed under the weight of her debt. For that mother who feels like she's a failure because she can barely make ends meet for her kids. For that Black woman who feels like she's not taken seriously. I feel like I stand for literally every woman who wants to be financially literate but doesn't really know how to go about it. And I pray that I am the blueprint for some of you, that my testimony can inspire and motivate some of you to start your own journey, to increase your financial literacy, to do whatever it is that you want to do, because you are more than capable. And for those of you who feel like you are late, who feel like, it's taking you years, why haven't you reached this point yet? I felt this way a million times, but I will say this: you are exactly where you are supposed to be. You are not late. Time is extremely subjective, and we often measure time by someone else's success or time frame. So this is your own journey. This is your life. Your life is your personal experience. You cannot put someone else's time limit or time frame on your life and your journey. You continue to stay consistent. You continue to stay focused. You know that you are doing everything that you are supposed to be doing. Have faith and confidence in yourself, and you will come to find out that you are not late, that you needed to take the stairs and you needed those years to gain that knowledge, and it's all going to make sense in the end. I am, once again, so thankful for you all for following my journey. This journey has literally just begun. I hope that you all follow me in phase 2, and I will do a video all about what phase 2 consists of. But until that time, just remember to take that little mustard seed of faith if you have not started your debt-free journey, and just walk in the darkness. Continue to go forward. You will eventually find the light. If you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you, because I have been in that position that you are in right now. But I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for your support and your kind words. I am debt-free. I did it in 4 years as a single Black young mom of 2 from a country ass state. So let this be your inspiration. Let nothing stop you. And I hope that you all have a great day.